Hi guys, my name's Bex and welcome back to my channel, and today something really exciting is happening, and probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened on my YouTube, and that is the mid-year catch-up collab where I brought together some amazing booktubers to tell us about their favourite books this year, their least favourite book this year, and their most highly anticipated for the rest of the year. So let's jump right in. So first of all, I would like to start by saying thank you so much to all the amazing booktubers that joined me on this collab. I was so excited to bring you guys something different and something exciting like this where we all talked about our favourite books in the one video, so thank you so much.
Hello, how are you? Hope you're good. I am G from BookTubers and thanks so much Bex for hosting me.
Hello, I'm Jade from JD Reads and I am here today because Bex asked me to be here today. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of the other wonderful people that you are watching for being involved as well, for making this all possible for Bex.
What up, book lovers? Let me introduce myself. My name is Grace, but you can call me G, and I am at the channel G's Swizzle Books.
Hello everyone, my name is Erina from Erina Reads, and I am a Slytherin, and Beck is one of my favourite people ever.
Hi, my name is Zoe, and when I'm not reading, I can be found making candles, working in a school library, and playing computer games like Age of Empires, Stardew Valley, and The Guild 2.
Hi guys, my name's Christy from Book with Christy.
Hey guys, so my name's Abby and my channel name is called Abby Lee C, the book lover, and today I'm here to participate in mid-year catch-up collab which is being made and run by Bex and Books.
So without further delay, let's jump straight into it, and the first question I asked everybody was what was their favourite read so far in 2017? My favourite read for the start of 2017 may come as no surprise to most people, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. I read this one on the 2nd of January. It was such a fantastic start to the year of reading. This story is book 2 in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and it follows Feyre, who is dragged into the Fey world after accidentally killing a sentry, and due to the life she took, she must give her own life to the Fey world. And it is a loose retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It's very fantastic. The writing is beautiful, and this book really steps it up. In terms of character development, writing, plot, everything in A Court of Mist and Fury was perfect. So this was my favourite read this year. Now, because I know A Court of Mist and Fury was a lot of people's favourites, I wanted to also show you another one of my favourites, and it's a little bit different, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. The Hate You Give was a powerful, raw, moving book that focused on the Black Lives Matter movement when 16-year-old Star witnesses her best friend Khalil being shot unarmed by a police officer, and it goes through the story and the implications of this action and all the other actions that follow. I definitely recommend this one. It was another one of my 5 out of 5 star reads so far.
So for my favourite book so far of the year, I'm going to say Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I absolutely loved this book. It was so good and just everyone needs to read it. One problem though is this is a very hard book to summarize and describe what it's about without actually spoiling it. It's like any little detail for this book can be a spoiler, so I can't actually give you guys a very good summary. Just know there's angels and magic and it takes place in Prague, and it was just beautiful and I absolutely loved it. The characters really drew me in and got me attached, and also the level of not sure what's going on that really drew me in, and I just had to keep reading, and just the writing. Laini Taylor is known for her beautiful writing, but it was just, I absolutely 100% fell in love with this book, and I have not read the sequels yet though, so I'm scared to keep going, but I absolutely loved it.
My best read for 2017 so far would definitely have to be A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. This is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR trilogy, and I'm just completely obsessed and in love with this whole world and its characters, excluding Tamlin of course. A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is book 1, is loosely based on a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's about a huntress who is forced to live in the Perithian Fey world after killing one of the High Lord's sentries. So that's where it begins. I cannot give anything else away. You just have to read these books. What have you been doing? They are so brilliant and you will be obsessed with the world. I have a feeling A Court of Wings and Ruin will come up in a lot of favourites, so I also wanted to mention Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I'm pretty late to the party. This came out a couple of years ago, but it was my first read of this year and it was phenomenal. Essentially, it's a sci-fi novel set mainly in space. It's it's a different kind of format. It's a monster of a book, but you fly through it because it is just honestly so brilliant. You've got really different kind of format where, you know, there might be an advertisement on one page and emails on the next, and then like security footage. It's a really interesting and engaging way of reading a book, and it is brilliant. I need to read the second book.
Choosing my favorite book for this year so far is actually really hard because I don't like to completely decide what my favorite book of the year was until the actual end of the year. However, I've got 3 titles here, and so these are my favorites so far. I can't decide between the 3, but if we're going to go with like a book at the beginning of a series that just took me by surprise, I'm gonna have to go with Stranger Dreamer by Laini Taylor. It really did take me by surprise. And of course, some sequels being The Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. I don't know if whether I like this one better than Akko Math so far, but I love them two possibly together because I did like the politics in this one. And also, I have A Gathering of Shadows, or maybe even A Conjuring of Light, like both of them by V.E. Schwab. I've been introduced to one of my new favorite series of all time. I actually can't decide at the moment between my 3 favorites. Like, I just love them all equally.
We're starting positive and speaking about the book that we most enjoyed in 2017. Am I correct? Hope so. Definitely A Court of Mist and Fury. I know this was not released in 2017, but I read it in 2017, so I'm gonna count it. I'm supposed to sort of describe this, but I can't really do that because this is the second book in the series. But if you read the first one, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's very magical, it's unexpected. There's a lot of character plot twist, and there's a lot of conflicting feelings. We visit some magical places that you actually want to live and just abandon your stupid mortal life here. But the series in general is a retelling, a very loose retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It's just magical and you need it in your life. What else am I gonna say?
That's quite a hard question, actually, because I feel like I've read some crackers this year so far. Like, I've read some really good books, but the book that I'm drawn to, like, to tell you about, is actually a reread, and I don't know if that counts because I didn't read it for the first time. I probably don't really even need to tell you what it is. A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. I did read it for the first time last year, and I have just finished reading it for a second time this year, so it is a favourite read, but I don't think it really counts. But my favourite official read of 2017 that I actually read for the first time in 2017 is A Court of Wings and Ruin, because I'm absolute Sarah J Maas trash. It was my most anticipated release for 2017, so it being my favourite read of 2017 so far really just makes sense, doesn't it? Like, I think it probably does. I don't think I really need to tell you what it's about because I'm pretty sure everyone knows, but it is the conclusion to the Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, following Feyre's life as she delves into the Feylands. And I can't really tell you anything else without spoiling it if you haven't read it. But I loved it because I love the characters and I'm sucked in. This book was just fantastic in absolutely every way possible.
My favourite book so far in 2017, it's really hard for me to pick which book I loved the most this year. I haven't read a whole lot as well, which makes it harder. My 2 favourite reads of this year would definitely have to be A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas and Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde. I love this book so much. Before I read this book, this was definitely my favourite read of this year. It is the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I can't say too much, of course, without spoilers, but all the feelings in this book, I'm still reading it and I want to reread it immediately. But really, my main favourite book I've read so far in 2017 is A Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde. This story follows 3 Australians who go to America for Supercon, which is kind of like Comic-Con, and it just goes through their relationships with each other and other people, and I loved it so much. I'll briefly just say that this was cute, genuine, real, sweet, happy, maybe, you know, I just related to the characters so much. I think this is the first book in a long time that I've really read and just related to on so many different levels, and I just love it so much because it's just so real and so relatable, and yeah.
My favourite book so far this year is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. It is the first book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, so it introduces us to the characters, the settings, the plots, and it builds this whole entire world that people are drawn into, and I absolutely loved it. And it's just phenomenal.
Second question I asked everybody was, what was your least favorite book this year so far? And my least favorite was Out of Heart by Earthfriend Master. I was lucky enough to receive an ARC copy of Out of Heart, and it is about a boy whose life is just really tough, and to add on to that, his grandfather dies and decides to donate his heart. The person who gets the heart is William, and William comes into this family's lives and things start changing, and it was such a wonderful premise, but unfortunately it just fell short on me. There was only one character that was really well developed, which was the main character. The rest seemed very underdeveloped, and the plot just took such a long time and was really slow moving and drawn out. And unfortunately this book did not hit the mark for me.
I've read a lot of amazing books this year already, so my worst read of 2017 isn't necessarily bad, but it just wasn't for me, and that is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. This book is set in a magic world, and our main character needs to take his trials to become a mage, except it's not really happening for him, so he's trying to con his way through so he's not shunned off and set to be a servant for the rest of his life. The story had a great premise, but the main character was very passive, and it was hard to read from his point of view. It didn't grip me at all throughout the story, maybe a little more towards the end when there was a bit more magic happening, but yeah, not really for me. I think it's more of a middle grade story, or people who love this author's writing, but I must say that I really loved the squirrel cat in this story, and the cover is stunning, so it could be for you. It might not be.
Number 2 is the book that you enjoyed the least in 2017 so far. For me, it has to be Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick, and this is just a celebrity autobiography about her life so far, and I'm just sorry that I listened to it. And I like her as a well, I say I like her as a person, I don't actually know her. So as far as I know, I like her as a person, but that book just gave nothing to me.
And for my least favourite read of this year, I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate, but it is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This only got 2 stars for me on Goodreads, and it's just something about the story that just kind of bored me, and it didn't pull me in, and the plot, I just don't care what's happening. Only the characters are the only thing that kept me in this book. But then I read A Gathering of Shadows, and again, I just didn't care what was happening. The characters were even starting to borderline annoy me, so it was something I didn't like. But the basic plot for this book is that Kel is like a traveller, and he can travel between alternate versions of London, and one time he brings something back that he shouldn't have, and it starts the whole story of him trying to fix his mistakes for something that he shouldn't have done. Like, I mean, a lot of people do love this book. There's just something wrong with me, but definitely just not my favourite.
Dang it, I'm gonna get so much hate for this because this isn't even my channel. Like, everybody on my channel knows me and knows my reading tastes, and I don't want to offend anybody, but my least favorite book of this year so far, or like book series of this year so far, is going to have to be The Winner's Trilogy by Marie Rakowski. I haven't finished this trilogy yet. I'm actually on the 3rd book, and I'm liking the 3rd book better than the first 2, surprisingly, but it's because there's a plot line in the 3rd book that's so different from the first 2 books that it just makes it so much more interesting and intriguing to read for some reason. And I'm so sorry to anybody who actually likes this trilogy. Pretty much this book is a lower fantasy book with some political intrigue and a romance. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can really describe it as. It's a well-written series, I'll give it that, but I just didn't find myself caring that much, and I'm not really too invested in the characters, and it's a very character-driven story as well. I understand why people like this series, but it's personally not for me. I'm just gonna have to say that. Sorry if I offended anybody. I'm not gonna like trash the book, or I'm not gonna say that Marie Rakowski is a bad author, because she's not. She's actually a pretty good author. It's just I didn't like this book because I didn't like the characters and I wasn't interested in the story, because people can hate books and still respect the author and still don't give them crap, because I'm not gonna give the author crap because I wasn't interested in their story. They wrote their story for somebody else. The somebody that they wrote the story for was not me. Let's just put it that way.
My least favourite book so far this year would have to be a Kindle book. The book that I didn't enjoy reading was Prince of Wolves by Lucy Quinn, and it just seemed too childish and unrelatable in any way. I know it's fiction, there's werewolves, you know, soulmates, which is great. I love werewolf books in general, but I couldn't get into it enough. I think I got to the end of it and just wasn't impressed, and I think there's more books, but I don't see myself ever reading them.
My least favourite book of this year, I haven't read a whole lot, so there's not a whole lot to choose from, but my least favourite book would definitely be Roseblood by A.G. Howard. I unfortunately didn't finish this book. I got this far in without finishing it. I really wanted to love this book, but I just felt it dragged on. I just couldn't get into it, and I didn't want to waste my time reading it when I had a lot of other amazing books to read. Also, I don't know a whole lot about the Phantom of the Opera, which is basically a retelling of the Phantom of the Opera story, where a young girl goes to a boarding school in France and kind of learns more about her opera past and all that jazz. Basically, yeah, didn't finish it. I felt bad, but also I wanted to read my other amazing books I had.
The last question I asked everybody was, what is your most highly anticipated book for the rest of the year? I have so many anticipated books, but I want to start out with Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo, which surrounds, of course, Wonder Woman, which is in big hype at the moment because of the movie was so good, and I just can't wait for this empowering novel, and I'm hoping it brings some of that women empowerment as much as the movie did, so I'm excited for that one. My next most highly anticipated is All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. This is an auto-buy author from me. I read The Raven Cycle and loved it, so I am highly anticipating her next novel. And since I trust Maggie so much, I don't actually even know what All the Crooked Saints is really about. All I know is her writing is perfect, and I can't wait to dive into it.
Next up is my least favourite book of 2017 so far, and I realise now that I'm really contradicting myself. And I'm contradicting myself because my least favourite read of 2017 so far actually comes from the same author as my most favourite. Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas. This is the second book in the Throne of Glass series, if you didn't already know that. Again, I feel like I can't really tell you too much because it is the second book in the series, so it would be spoilers. I have done a book babble about it on my channel if you want to know more about my thoughts on why I didn't like it too much, but I gave it 3 stars. I had some severe pacing issues with this. 3 stars for me isn't like a hate, like I didn't absolutely despise it, but I had enough issues to be a bit pissed off. It took me 3 weeks to read when it really shouldn't have taken that long at all. I feel like really throughout the entire book, 3 things of interest happened, the rest didn't even need to be there. In all honesty, I feel like this could have been absolutely condensed down and just added on to the end of Throne of Glass. I will continue the series and maybe I will then discover that this was maybe more important than I feel it is at the minute, but currently I just wasn't really feeling this that much. It was too long-winded for not a lot to happen. Sorry.
My most anticipated book for the rest of this year, I'm gonna say is The Becoming of Noah Shaw. Now, that book follows on from the Mara Dyer trilogy. It's kind of like the 4th book, or in a sense, or a new trilogy or series from a different character's perspective. I can't really go into too much detail, of course, without spoilers, but I absolutely love this trilogy, and to have it continue on from Noah's perspective, which is a character in one of these books, I'm really looking forward to seeing his story and the events that unfold after the trilogy. Apart from that, I haven't yet read Throne of Glass, but again, I feel like I'm gonna love that. So if not The Becoming of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hodkin, it would be Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas.
I don't have a lot of anticipated reads for the rest of the year, but my top 2 are by the same author, and that is Wonder Woman Warbringer and The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. I absolutely adore her writing, so I'm so excited for these ones. The Wonder Woman story is pretty self-explanatory, except it delves into a new story with a new character. So I'm very excited for that one. The second book, The Language of Thorns, is a collection of 6 tales, very sort of fairy tale like, and also involving her Grisha world. If you haven't read Leigh Bardugo's books in her Grisha verse, I highly recommend. She writes phenomenal stories, and her world, love it.
Book I am most anticipating to comes out next month in August. It is the Wonder Woman adaptation by Leigh Bardugo. It's called Warbringer, and after seeing the origin story of Wonder Woman movie, I was just like, I need more of this in my life. So I'm super excited for that. I have it on pre-order and cannot wait to get it. I know as soon as it comes, it'll probably be the only thing I'm like, I need to read this now. Yeah, so that's definitely my most anticipated read at this stage.
And finally, for my most anticipated read for the second half of the year, it has to be Renegades by Marissa Meyer, which originally was called the Gallatin School for Vigilantes, so there was a title change. So I got a bit confused when I saw the book wasn't there anymore, but I'm very excited. It is a really cool dystopian book that's coming out about secret powers and governments being corrupt and identity changes and just some really cool stuff. And it's going to be a vengeance and a justice story, and it's Marissa Meyer. She writes wonderful books, and I am so excited for this, and I just can't wait for it to come out, and it's November. November is how long I have to wait, but I'm excited. So excited.
The next thing that Bex wants me to tell you about is my most anticipated release for the remainder of 2017. And if I had filmed this like a couple of weeks earlier, my answer would be, this is just the dust jacket because the book is in my bag because I'm reading it. But my answer would have been Born by Jeff Vandermeer, because if you don't know me, I am obsessed with Jeff Vandermeer. He is my absolute favourite author of all time. I love him. And this book came out in June, so if I had like filmed this a little bit earlier, like maybe when Bex first asked for it, then this would have been my answer. But it's out now and I own it, so And really, I don't have any other anticipated releases for the rest of the year, and I think mainly that is because I don't really keep up to date on what's to come unless it's like a big one like Aquawar. But I don't really keep updated on what is coming out until it's come out, and then I'm all about it. But yeah, I don't know what I'm looking forward to other than this that I've started recently. But other than that, I'm afraid I can't really answer this question because I quite simply don't know what's headed our way. Sorry!
And the last point is a book that you're really looking forward to. And this is super exciting because as I'm filming off right now, this is the 29th of June. So the book that I'm most looking forward to in 2017 is coming out tomorrow. So I'm beyond pumped. And I'm talking about The Lightning Struck Hard by T.G. Klune. And it's the second book that's coming out, and it's called A Destiny of Dragons. It's the second book in the series for the Tales of Verenia. It's the most hilarious universe you will ever find. I'm just gonna tell you just some points of this book because I can't really explain it in any sort of way. There's adventure, there's a group of very close friends. One is a simple-minded giant, second one is a extremely sassy unicorn, and a gay wizard apprentice is our main character. The main romantic interest is always Knight Delicious Face. There's also a dragon who is sexually aggressive, really whiny entitled prince, and evil protagonists go full-on monologue and everyone points that out, and I love it. You need this.
My most anticipated release for the second half of the year is definitely gonna have to be Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. I understand that a lot of people aren't really excited for Kale's novella. I personally still love Kale, no matter whether he's endgame with Selena or not. I don't think he is endgame, to be honest, but I will still love him. And the cover dropped today, and let's not talk about the cover, like seriously. But I'm really excited for this book. I know that as soon as I'm gonna get my hands on it, I'm going to read it probably in one sitting.
So that is it from my mid-year catch-up collab, and yet again, thank you so much to everyone who joined. If you want to check out any of the amazing booktubers that joined me today, all their links will be down below. I definitely recommend every one of them because I watch and talk to every single one of them. They are so fantastic, so definitely go check them out. And thank you for watching our collab. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more and have not already, and chat to me down in the comments. Let me know if you liked this collab and if you'd like to see more of them, because I'm definitely excited to bring you more of this kind of thing and join all the booktube community together and just chat about the things we love most, which is of course books.
That is all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun answering all this, and just thank you to Bex and Books for thinking of this idea and how much fun it's going to be to watch the final product, and I just am so excited. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you later. Bye!
Thanks for listening to my little bit in this video. I hope you have enjoyed meeting me if you didn't already know me.
Thanks again, Bex, for having me on this, and I cannot wait to see everybody else's responses. Give it a thumbs up. I don't know how to end this. Bye!
Thank you again to everyone. I will chat to you next time. Bye!